You know, it wasn't as bad to go down. Well, it wasn't if you can't dummy, you know.
Yeah.
And you took too much of it. I don't know. Right now, we did.
160.
Y'all know if anybody else is planning on attending from Hermleigh? Any ideas?
Yeah, it was more than, I think it would be more than, she had, I forget now what she had.
All right, y'all ready? All right,
Sorry?
that's okay. Okay, that's all right. Okay, we had a meeting several months ago about this, and John Chisholm with Cords was here, and he is here tonight. And Sean Nichols has since come in and with Central States Water Resources and they've expressed an interest in the Hermleigh Waterworks as well. So we'll kind of go over some of the things that need to go over on that. So I've done some research on the Hermleigh Waterworks recently, as far as procedures, if that's decided. And last year, Hermleigh Water brought in $75,000 and requires approximately $130,000 a year to operate, leaving a deficit of about $54,000, $55,000. There's about $49,000 in the bank account for Hermleigh, and there's a reserve of $112,650 in the reserve fund. So basically, at the current rate of $35, we need to be increased to $65 at some point in the future just to maintain where it's at. So that's kind of where Hermleigh Water is right now, and the potential need in the future. We were hoping that we could keep it down in the future, but where it stands now, we'd have to make a decision. Either we sell the Hermleigh Waterworks, or we cut the full-time position to a part-time position to keep it below that, and then we still probably wouldn't be able to do much as far as.
What does, okay, you sold, keep the rights to the way outside was privatized, because I grew up in a town where it was privatized, and
Sure.
it was very difficult to pay for it.
Yeah, there's
use much water.
absolutely. There's the Public Utilities Commission, and any rate increase has to go through the Public Utilities Commission. And I believe, isn't it 2 years? You can't have a rate increase? Am I correct on that, or am I misunderstanding that?
Judge, I'm not sure what the time limit is, but I mean, you do have to go through a whole process to raise rates. And that's common.
Sam,
Why do you want to buy
Well, it's the business we're in. We are I guess, international. We have water systems in all through North America, Canada, and the U.S. We have them in 14 or 20 states. Man, I can't remember. Anyway, we have a system that's very close to this one, the Mitchell County system. So it would be a very easy system for us to add on. Matt and his crews can operate the system and take care of the system and respond. Us to bolt on and add to.
And certainly to add on what John has said, the fact that we're, in Colorado City, we're just 20 minutes away, so it makes it where it would be, so it makes it where it would be efficient for us to be here. If we were to just come in, try to take the system, not having any other systems around here to help support it would be very difficult.
What is water rate in Colorado City?
We have, you had
Eventually, we would move this system to, I think. I mean, that's kind of what our general idea was.
Look at the box there.
We think eventually, that's what we would move the Hermleigh system into the Mitchell County system to those rates that are proposed right now. It would not be immediate. It would be at least 2 years down the road, but yes, we think we would move to those rates. Minimum rate there is for no usage, it's $4.50 per thousand after that. So the average user, you said, was 2,000?
2,000 or less.
That was under the new rates, under the new proposed.
What
rates.
about you?
Thank you.
My rates will be higher than that. We've got a little bit different business model. Our company was founded on the principle of really focusing on small systems. And so the concept of having a large system and then having bolt-on acquisitions is industry business model. My founder and president cut his teeth and grew up designing small subdivision water systems, primarily systems that had less than 200 connections. And he saw a need to have a company that focused primarily on those systems. And the way we bring economies of scale, there's anything wrong with their business model. It's a good business model. We just have a different approach. But our rates, and I quite frankly think everybody's rates. If you keep it yourself, I think the judge said it was going to be about $65. I think that's probably where the rates will end up. It'll be somewhere in that neighborhood. Both John and I accept them recommendations on what they should do.
Okay, he said he would come if, like, if there was trouble, he could come in 20 minutes, and where would you be?
We have a local person that lives in the area.
They do now?
Possibly if he wanted to continue to do that, we would contract with him to continue providing those services.
You can have a local operator, everybody's still pretty local. The issue that you may have is if you have a leak, who's gonna come out here and fix that? You're gonna have a crew come out here and fix that. You're gonna have a crew come out here and do that. More than likely, one person won't be able to do that. They have all the equipment for that as well. And you know, that's where I think, you know, us, like I said, we already have that. We could build
In the past, I understand. I'm not sure how recent that is, but, and that's how we have knowledge of the system, that we've been here before.
And so what we would do that's slightly different than that is instead of having somebody that's full-time dedicated, you have somebody that does it for multiple systems in this area. And so they would have the, nothing wrong with the way they're, and we just have a different philosophy about how to go about doing it.
I have a question for both of y'all. I'm sorry if I'm taking up all the time.
No, this is what we're here for.
Who would read the meters?
Well, let me to answer that, because we did look at that. Certainly in the beginning, we'd have to manually read them, and Matt, his team would be the ones who would read the meters. What we would go to would read the meters. What we would go to very quickly after we were able to take ownership, it's an automated meter reading system, and so you don't have to go out and read the meters manually anymore. And the nice part about that is it provides the customer, provides you with the opportunity to look at your water meter at any time with your phone, you know, with an app or on a computer or on a website, and you can see what your water usage is daily, hourly, however you like it. And another thing that's kind of cool that I like about that is you can also set up parameters in some spaces so that, let's say you've got a leak at your house and sends you an alert that says, hey, you're using water above this threshold. You're using water too fast or faster than you told me you wanted to, or you're using more than you told me you wanted to. And it'll give you an alert so that you can kind of go look at it and see what's going on, if you choose to use those features. But that'd be something that we would do. We see it, it provides a neat service, a cool service, if you will. But it also, it saves money having to go out and read features, and that's kind of an expense that it's hard to do, because most places you do that once a month. And meter reading is it's weird, but it's kind of one of the most difficult things you do now.
And what's great about that system is usually if you have a leak, well, guess what? You might not know it for a whole month until you get your bill. With this system, you're going to know it, a lot sooner, and all of a sudden you start having that high usage. So, if you got that notification, hey, all of a sudden I'm using a lot of water. Okay, great. I can go turn the meter off, whatever, figure out what's going on, have a whole month and have high bill. So that's our.
We're installing those in a lot of our systems now, and just over the last probably year, we've trying to get it in system wise. We really like those. That's what we plan to do here.
What about you?
I heard them say we probably take a longer transition period, and we probably just keep this current manual system in place, but we plan for a 5-year window to change and do something similar. I've not seen your system yet, so I mean, I've driven by it, but I've not had it evaluated to be able to tell you definitively, this is what we're going to do. But philosophically, we agree with them. The cost of those automated meters are going down all the time. Technology costs are going down all the time. So to the extent it's convenience to the customer, we're certainly going to do that. But we don't have a mandate that to do it if it's not the right cost-effective thing to do it.
Thank you.
Thank you for the questions. Good questions.
Very good questions. Thank you for asking those.
Let's see if I can think of some more.
Okay. All right.
Well, the biggest issue that Hermleigh Waterworks has is its size, the amount of customers you have. Dan said it generates 70,000 a year. And I'm not going to pick on them, I'm going to pick on the city of Snyder. They have 10 times as many meters, 20 times. What's their water rates? You have any idea?
Oh, goodness. If you're watching and you know the water, let me know. Let me see what I can
Well,
find.
in the water rates not are tied into dumpsters and sewer.
They are, but there is a breakout of those, what the water rates are and what the dumpster rates are and sewer rates.
I want to, and this is because I asked somebody here a while back when this first came up, somewhere's around $45 minimum.
Yeah, I think that's pretty close.
Is the more customers you have, the less likely, like Dan said, if we do it, it could be $65 minimum. You have a major company, I'm going to think of it. They will be less because of the law.
$5 per 1,000.
Okay, so someone that would be closer to what y'all do would be the IRA water system.
But isn't it tied into Snyder?
Yes, ma'am. They buy water.
Pretty close. Yeah.
But my point is if you've got, how many meters y'all got, Gary?
155.
155.
Yeah.
Chances are it would cost very little more if you had 200. Is my point. So, I mean, the size is what's affecting Hermleigh as far as what can be done and the amount of money that it generates. Because you've got TCEQ and all them people telling you, they don't ask you to do this, they tell you. And that's expensive. That's
Cost.
Mhm.
And the more customers you have, more customers are paying for that cost, so it's divided again for more people.
yes.
So,
And that's my point. I've been around Hermleigh my whole life, and it's always been down there, the water system. Blah, blah, blah. Water, somebody in the business, these guys, they got somebody else, your water quality will probably improve. Nothing against Gary, but chances are it will. Because it's no matter who it is. And
Well, I will say the water quality has improved with years.
but that's the tall and short of it. Four people sitting up there that don't know doodly squat about a water system.
I have learned a lot in the last couple of years. So. But I don't, what I know about it is enough to be dangerous. So, I know Gary and these guys, and
Speaking
you've
of
got-
weather, my neighbor across the street asked if they were coming.
they were all put in the water bill as they should have been.
I guess she just missed it because she said that she didn't know anything about it.
Okay.
That she wasn't coming away because her husband has some health problems and she
Sure.
didn't want to get worse.
Okay.
Worse.
Okay. Yeah, I specifically made sure that we sent out letters for this.
Oh, see, I got it this time, but I didn't.
It didn't work out as well as I had hoped. But that's why I wanted to do the letter this time to make sure that, as many customers as could got the letter.
Okay, how is, if you sell Hermleigh Waterworks to either one of these guys,
Sure.
how's this going to affect the county? How's it going to affect y'all, county? How's it going to affect y'all?
In what aspect? As far as it so far, it has been. I think this is where you're going with this question. So far, it has been some money toward tax dollars or anything like that. So it basically it wouldn't make a difference as far as tax dollars go. If that's your question.
Well, what about the money that you have belongs to the Hermleigh Waterworks right now? What will happen to that?
That's a good question. That's something that I was thinking about today. Is there's about $160,000. What would that money go to? And that's something that the court would have to decide. And I would think that there'd be a couple of different directions you could go, and I would think that's permanent.
Meaning what?
Meaning, I don't know exactly, but it's something to do with Hermleigh. Do you have any ideas on that?
I was just asking. I didn't know if that went with whoever bought it.
Yeah,
Or if y'all kept it, or if it went toward improving the water system as it is now before you sell it, or what?
sure.
If you sell it.
And that's something that we would have to decide. would happen. Having bought water systems, you guys, do y'all generally take those assets, or do y'all acquire those assets, or is that a completely separate deal, or what?
Cash usually stays with the seller,
Okay.
but bear in mind the process is lengthy.
Sure.
So if you're running a deficit, that those funds could be depleted by the time the sale's complete.
Mhm.
But in the past, some communities that I've worked with have, refurbished a ballpark or big enough, just repairs on the roads or street lights or the different things. But
Right.
the funds stay with the seller and the public, usually the board gets input from the public and the public, makes a decision on where they want the funds deployed.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys.
Yeah, Judge, I would say, each
To sell something and here's a pot of cash to go along with it, so.
How long will this take? If they say yes and everybody agrees to the price and all that kind of stuff, how long is getting it sold take?
And that's something that we were talking about before everybody got here, was the length of time for bids or RFPs would be 60 to 90 days if the court decided, or the board decided to do that. And then,
See, let me inject this quick and then I can shut my mouth. During that time, until that document with it, just
No,
say there it is.
I agree.
Yeah, because windmill can go down tomorrow.
Sure.
I'm sure Sean got one. I used to have one. But
I don't think
well,
Hermleigh
I've
Water
got
has
two,
one.
but they're down.
You're right. I mean, if there was a major leak out there, it's in the process of being sold and we're not gonna do
Your
anything.
baby.
No, we wouldn't do that. We
But
would
what I'm
definitely
saying, that's the
maintain-
reason you got to keep the pot,
Sure.
you know.
But if we did maintain that until after it was sold, what would we do with the funds then?
Well, I think we just had to go to somebody smarter than me and Jim to tell us what was the right way.
Yeah.
Because that's what I want to do, the right
I
way.
think that since the money was generated from the Hermleigh community, that the money would go back to the Hermleigh community in one way or another. I know there's a small park over there, some improvements could be made in the small park, or, I don't know, there's, I'm sorry?
Go back to the water bill, the water bill.
I've seen that done before where there's been a rebate back to the
Yeah.
actual customer.
that's common.
Okay.
That does happen.
But I would add that in addition to the length of time for the RFP process, which really I think you can do in 30 or 45 days,
Sure.
but you all decide what is best for you.
Yeah.
The PUC process is backlogged because of COVID-19.
Right.
It was never very quick, but it came to a screeching halt last year. It's starting to loosen back up. Process takes close to a year.
Sure.
So you've got the RFP process, you've got however long it takes to actually negotiate and sign a contract with whoever you select as the winning bid, and then they'll have to file and go through the PUC process. So my suggestion was at least a year.
Okay.
Or longer. And
Yeah.
the only difference I'd say with you on that is they've been backlogged for longer than a year.
I agree. I'm being hopeful. It could take two,
Sure.
but I'd say it's gonna at least take a year.
Oh, yeah, every bit. And I'd say it's been probably since around 2015 or so, and, all of what TCQ got dumped on PUC, that's when it really.
Really?
When they streamlined it.
Okay.
But we've had several that have taken a year, and there's a couple I can think of that are still lingering, but we're, you know, they're working through.
Sure.
But to your point though, you would not spend any of that money until that sale is final, which will not be approved by anyone but the PUC. So they'll have final approval on a sale. So you would keep all your funds until that approval happened, and then you decide what you want to do with that.
So my next question is, right now, I have a water meter right here. Anything that happens to that in my house is mine. Anything happens to the other side of the county. Okay, will that still be the same?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, man, that's pretty regular, that's pretty normal, any water system you go to.
All right, thank you.
As far as the cash that Hermleigh Water Works have, we would need to go get legal advice to see exactly what we can and cannot do
Sure.
with it after whoever signs on the dotted line, they own it, and we've got cash left, or we have no cash left.
Sure.
Because it is tax money.
It's water rate money.
It's water rate
Yeah.
money, but it's still going to Scurry County.
Sure, it is.
And that would be something that we need to check with somebody that knows.
Yeah, and we would definitely do that.
Well, yeah, I
I mean,
understand.
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, I agree with you.
Because,
Yep,
uh,
we have time to find out.
well, we do, and then again, we don't, because everything has to fall in line.
Sure.
So anyway, that's just my concern. Because,
No, I understand.
chances are there won't be 160 left at the end of 18 months, 2
Right.
years.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's just the tall and short of it.
It is.
Because, it costs more to operate than it brings in. And sooner or later, you will deplete. You'll find the bottom of the bucket. And that's something we need to consider.
It is.
Because, I don't know what y'all, the longer we take to make a decision, it's just pushing it down the road.
Sure.
And I'm sure they want to know, and whoever ends up with it, if we go that way, they got to get the process started. So it's just, it's part of it.
And that's why after this part, we have an action item.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that.
So that we can go ahead and get that started. I agree with you. We do need to, but we've talked about this for several months, or we've talked about it several months ago, and because of COVID and holidays and trying to do other regular business as normal. And so new year, time to make a decision on this. So do you have any more thoughts or questions?
Not about the water.
Okay.
Okay, I understand that Curry County provides the water system and everything for Hermleigh right now. What else besides the road?
For Hermleigh?
And the community too?
Is one small park that is owned
Yeah,
by Hermleigh over there.
somebody
Or-
else that wants them all, yeah.
Yeah, but I think that is pretty much it as far as what Scurry County.
No dumpsters.
Yeah, we don't do any dumpsters.
No, I know that, I paid up.
Yes, community center. But,
Enough for community.
I'm sorry?
Enough for community center.
Yeah, we pay for that one.
Yeah,
So basically, it would be the water system.
okay, I'm thinking Curry County taxes.
Mhm. Sure. And you're also getting the other services that aren't necessarily in Hermleigh, but they are here in Snyder. And I know that Snyder is not all of Scurry County. It includes, as someone mentioned, Hermleigh and Ira, Savannah. And so those other services like this building, the library, are for all people in Scurry County.
Have this meeting down there. Why didn't you have this meeting down there?
I was expecting more. I was hoping more people would show up, and that way we have the space to be able to spread out with the current COVID conditions. That way, it's a bigger area, and we can get more people into it.
And you didn't have to drive down there, we have to drive up.
I don't know how much they use the youth center or some of the other facilities, but they are available for everybody in Scurry County.
I said, well, ago, if there's money left over, if we sell this, there's money left over, will they fix the potholes that I run into every time I go to office?
Yeah, that's something that we would have to decide. Yes, ma'am. If the money can be used that way, that would have to be something that would be decided.
And that's why I was asking, what else do you actually, I want to say provide, but that's not the right word either.
Yeah.
For Hermleigh through our taxes.
Sure. What other
That's what I wanted
services?
to know. Thank you.
Well, man, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to be smart, nothing like that.
Well, I'm not either.
I know you know. That's why I wanted to be just like you.
Okay,
Uh,
won't be done.
See, I live right out here. I got a road coming in and out of my place, and that's all I got to see about what you're talking about. Now then, I'm closer to, if I want to go to the Coliseum and the rodeo is there, than you are, or the library. But, and again,
Yeah.
so there's more things to take. I mean, everybody pays taxes. I mean, it's bad route, but where would we be if we didn't?
No,
So, you know, I hate that you thought if you got in the court with a place that we're having, you know, is taking care of it, and it's running down, and we give it to because they wanted it. If we weren't gonna take care of it, they wanted to take it just to visit or whatever, or have whatever they have up there, fire department, have a meeting or nothing, something like that. So, you know, I don't want you to think we're trying to.
I'm not thinking that, I was just curious.
Sure.
I only wanted to know.
Well, that's fine, but I don't know what else other than, I mean, I know you look, I would do it the same thing. Well, why can't they do this out here? Well, you end up just like a lot of places, there's not a lot of things, in other words, there's not a lot of people come unless they're to your school, which is great. That's one place that everybody goes to. See their ball games and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, I don't know what else we could possibly do.
I don't either, I'm just asking what it is,
Sure.
you know.
Yes.
That's just something I've been thinking about lately.
Yes,
What
ma'am.
else?
There's no church around Hermleigh. It's got, I think that's what Larry was saying down there. The community center has lunch. The community center has lunch there for whoever. But has a funeral that day.
Oh,
at the church. And then he didn't want to touch that.
who?
The Larry Thompson, we
Oh.
didn't,
Okay.
what they're discussing is done in Fluvanna Fire, Fluvanna, community centers. Hermleigh, we voted today to sell the Dunn Community Center and the Fluvanna Community Center to, Fluvanna Fire Department, but we are gonna keep the Hermleigh Community Center,
Okay,
so, and maintain it.
Y'all ain't got,
Are gonna keep the Hermleigh Community Center,
okay.
so, and maintain it.
y'all ain't got a fire department, did we? Turn it over to.
That's a question I had also. Why do we have someone from the Parks Department controlling the community center down there? So if you need to get a key, you gotta come to Snyder to get a key, get the community center. Why?
That was done with all of the community centers, because they were we had so many of them spread out throughout the community.
But most of them
It
are
hadn't, correct, and Hermleigh's gonna be the only one that we own at this point. And I don't know about, if Great Dean will continue.
You don't know what.
I don't know if she is gonna, continue. I'm sorry.
Who did you say? Somebody from the Parks Department, Melissa,
Mhm.
is the one you have to call if you
Correct.
want to rent the community center, and then you've got to come up here and get the key. You know. why-
Yes,
why
if
don't
we
they
have
hire
somebody-
from around there.
If we have somebody over there, then we can certainly keep the key over there. So,
I'll do it.
okay.
Because it-
Let's work on that tomorrow.
Yeah, but what I was gonna say, because the reason I even thought about that is, some guys wanted to rent the community center to have something, I don't remember what, maybe New Year's or something, and have a karaoke or something, because they don't have any place to go there at the RV park, and they have to, and he didn't room on his guys out on the road or going to bars and whatever. So he wanted to rent the community center, to have just a karaoke thing. I asked Great Dean, I went up to her house and she said, well, you have to call Melissa because it's real unhandy for you to have to try to find where the key is and all that. So.
And that's something we can certainly look into and fix.
Okay, well, I just wondered,
Sure.
We can deal with that.
deal with that later, I understand. That's just something I needed to ask while I was thinking about.
Absolutely.
I may not remember. On selling of the waterworks. Well, I really need to think about it a bit because I didn't know anything about what I found out out tonight. I knew they want to sell it. I thought, why,
Sure. Well, it's not necessarily, it's it's not that we just thought, hey, let's sell Hermleigh Waterworks.
I know economically,
So,
I understand that, but I didn't know.
Sure, absolutely. Okay. Well, we'll go ahead and, let me see if I can find my agenda. But I didn't bring in paper.
Dan,
Yes, sir.
so people know, I think John and I both have brought handouts that people want.
Okay.
My flyer's over here on the right-hand side of the auditorium, John's are over here. You got my cards over there. So
Awesome.
if you want a little bit more information about our companies, it's available, and I'm sure he's got a website, we've got a website.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay. And we did ask them to both come so we can kind of have an idea of what options are out there. The board decides to sell Hermleigh Waterworks, then they would we would have to figure out what the process is going to be. Are we going to go out for bids or what the process is? So there's no way to know at this point who would even get it. So, but I wanted them to come in and provide their different perspectives on where they would be if they were to acquire it. Both coming. You came all the way from Missouri today, didn't you?
Well, yes, and thank you for inviting me. I had other business, so I was happy to come over tonight and visit, so I'm here frequently.
Okay. How far did you come in?
I live in San Antonio and, Matt lives in Lamita.
Okay, so y'all came away too. Well, thank y'all all for coming. I do appreciate it. So I'll go ahead and close that. The court to discuss and consider going out for requests for proposals for the sale of Hermleigh Waterworks. Any- No, sir, I've got it on my phone actually. Thoughts?
Well, Judge, fellas, this way to accept or reject all bids.
Right. Now, I did talk to the county attorney about this, and he has a list of things that we might want to consider when we go out for, if we determine to go out for requests for proposals. So, service plan of the company, rate plan for however many months following the award of the bid, or after the PUC determines that they can take it over. The ability to complete the legal and regulatory process through the PUC. How long are we going to publish it? Do we want to do companies to the communities? Do we want to know that? Of course, the price will be involved in all of that. What assets do we want to include in that? We've already discussed the cash portion of that. That would probably be, accounts receivable, and then what kind of compliance do they have with the PUC? So those are some thoughts that the county attorney wanted to kind of put out there and see if we wanted to include any of that. Are there any things that y'all know of that are included in RFPs that you have done in the past that
I think, yeah, you cover.
right?
And your rate plan is important and also for your customers. So.
Okay. Yeah. So we know.
Well, when we send out the bid packets,
Mhm.
can we not include that?
Absolutely.
And that way, when they submit a bid, that would be in it.
Sure.
Somebody from wherever, that wasn't here, they're not gonna know.
That's in our specs.
All of
You
them.
can't go, you got to put that in there. Or part of it, yeah.
Because if county attorney come up with it, what, he should know.
Dan, that list was pretty typical of what I would
Okay.
see. I do have some, what I would
Okay.
see, I do have some old RFPs from other municipalities. I'd be happy to send you a couple of benefits. Pretty much what, I didn't see missed anything. I think that's
Okay.
pretty much right.
Okay.
So.
Not bad for us not knowing anything about selling a utility service.
Speak for yourself.
We identified what's important real quick.
That,
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you've got the motion to sell, or motion to go out for bids?
go out for bids with whatever you're gonna call that list.
Whatever these specs are, with certain specifications, and I can get those.
Specifications?
Yes.
Okay.
You're getting it out, you're gonna do,
You okay with 60?
yeah, fine.
As part of your.
60 days?
Yes, ma'am.
Roughly be in March, roughly. I would think that would be sufficient time, I would think.
I would think so. That'll give you all plenty of time to get any information y'all needed from us or to.
Should be.
Because if time we get the packets fixed up, we're looking at sending them out Monday.
Well, before you send out package, so that people that are old like me can get there and back without running over a cow on the way or something.
I understand what you're saying. This is the second opportunity we've had
I
to,
know, but I'm just, can't we say we're going to have a vote? And please come, if you don't come, your vote doesn't count or whatever, let them know that it's important. Not just to hear what we're going to, not just to hear what we're going to say, but to actually vote on it. I know, you said you don't like letter, but like I said, some people really, some people really didn't get the letter. And I just think it's important for them to realize for everybody to realize how important it is. I mean, is that asking too much?
because I think we should get the process started. It doesn't mean that we have to, if we go out for RFPs at this time, we don't have to, when we get those back, accept any of the bids. So in the meantime, between now and then, we can have, and my concern with doing it at that community center is because it's so small, if we get.
It's pretty big for people.
We're talking about 165 counts there.
You think that there's gonna be 165 people that come?
No, ma'am,
I didn't even know about it.
okay. But,
Come and go.
Come and go. Yeah, that's what you're talking about, come and go for voting.
Yeah.
If we would all be at the same time anyway.
sure. We can do something like that, I guess.
That's just
But-
what I think.
Yeah, and like I said, this is the second opportunity we've given for folks to come and express an opinion on this. And I had
didn't know
hoped-
about the first opportunity.
okay. But like I said, we sent out that letter, and there may have been some that might not have gotten it, and I can't say why they didn't get it, but
About Hermleigh. Everybody, nearly everyone in Hermleigh has kids or grandkids that are stock showing and going to ball games.
Basketball tonight.
That's ball games going on. And then some of them would have been here, they want to see their kid or grandkid play.
okay. Well, that's something that we will definitely have to consider is
I mean,
doing something.
I'm not saying try to find not when it's not a ball game.
Sure.
I'm just saying if you have this vote thing from say 5 to 7.
And we still only have 3 people show up. Do we say, well, we gave them an opportunity, but let's give them another opportunity?
No,
How many
they say-
opportunities do we give folks to show
Okay,
up?
like I said, I didn't know about the first opportunity.
Sure.
Okay. So maybe other people didn't know about it. So this is my first opportunity.
Yes, ma'am.
But I think you should give one more opportunity. I'm not saying 3, 4, 5, or 2. I really, even if they couldn't come, maybe they couldn't come for some reason. Maybe they got COVID, who knows? But I really think, in all fairness, I really think that you should have one more at the community center where people will come, because they don't come up here like this at night.
Yeah,
A lot of us don't.
the last time we had this meeting, when it was over, all that was here, which was, I think, more than this right here.
Yeah, it was about 10 people.
And I walked around and asked each one of them. Now, I can't tell you how many was, but but there was more than there was here. I did not run into a one that said they was against it. They thought it sounded good if it come out like they said it would. Well, all we can do is go by fellas that's done it before. And we would
Okay,
have
let me
known,
ask you this.
ma'am.
What's wrong with having one more vote?
Ma'am, because of the fact, it's just like the judge said, we've had 2. And
I
this is
tell you,
what
you're gonna
we,
get some backlash if you don't have one more meeting and say, this is the vote. You're gonna have some backlash from people saying, they just went and sold our water without.
why would we
Well,
have a
that's
backlash?
why I worded the letter the way I did, was
Okay.
expressing that we were going to vote on that tonight, whether we were gonna go
Well, do
forward or
whatever you
not.
want to, that's just.
And I do understand what you're saying. But are we gonna do this same thing again? Don't know what they're voting on. If they don't know what they're voting on, if we just say, come in and vote on personally,
Well,
and we basically need to set up a meeting like this again,
no,
and
no, I mean, not unless you just want to, but I'm just trying to tell you that I know the people didn't get to vote, or I couldn't go that night, or, you know.
it is something that I would definitely consider.
Hey, Judge,
yes.
just curious, you're YouTubing this live now?
Yes, and
You
people can
tell
go and
me
watch it.
people are watching this right now?
7.
Are there
I
any-
think-
Are there any comments on any of that?
Well, then go to the whole thing.
I was wrong. There's 3 people watching. There are no comments.
Okay,
Let me ask you another. After all this is, can we not put that on County's place?
It's on there.
It's on there?
Yeah.
So
paper, then we will vote this day, come and vote, or your vote doesn't count, go right. Bill, I know you can be more dramatic than that. Anyway,
I will definitely consider it.
okay, thank you.
I will definitely consider it. Doing something between now and the date that the RFPs are out. But if the court, if we decide to go that way, we already have a motion to go ahead and go out for RFPs. Don't have a second yet, but if definitely consider setting up a vote and requesting that people go and watch the video, this one, and potentially the one that we did last time, because we mentioned that that video was out there. It's still there. People can go and watch. But I don't see having another meeting like this in a small space like that out at Hermleigh right now.
I'm not saying that, I'm just saying, like, all right, like, you put in the paper, we're going to have a vote on the waterworks, because we cannot afford to keep it anymore, or your rates are gonna double or triple or whatever, that's gonna get your attention.
Sure. That's what I was hoping. Okay,
we got
we have a motion to go out for RFPs, including these specifications, and get them returned in the 6.
But I think you're going, my deal is, you're gonna be better off. That's what these other folks said up here the last time I was here. Now, they either told me something they didn't believe, or what.
Okay, what do you think we should do, then?
I think, and I think that, you're gonna see a second motion.
Now, if up there and all of that and spend the money on doing that, it would be a very unofficial type of situation if I decide to do that.
Well, if you don't decide to do it, then what?
I'm sorry?
If you don't decide to do that, then what?
Then we would, we've got a motion in a second, we're about to vote, and we would go ahead and, if the court decides here in just a minute after the vote to go forward, then we would go forward with opening the. I'm decided yes or no on that. I'm leaning towards yes, I'll tell you that. I don't mind going out to the community center and speaking to the people of Hermleigh. I really don't. So,
Yeah, I understand when you've got trips for people to show up, I understand that.
yes, ma'am. I really wanted Hermleigh's voice in this. The first time we had the meeting and tonight. That would tell me a lot. So, all right, we have a motion and a second, and we'll go ahead and vote all in favor. All right. Motion carries. So, all right. Thank you all for coming out. We appreciate it. Second, all in favor?
Call me if you got any questions. Your laptop.
I missed.
I second.
Yeah.